Welcome back to Everyday Elevations, the podcast where we transform ordinary moments into extraordinary outcomes. Today, I am very excited. We got a special guest here. His name is Guy Munroe. He's an experienced speech and singing coach who's been honing his expertise in charisma for well over 20 years. He specializes in preparing individuals for high pressure situations such as performances on the X Factor, The Voice, and even TEDx talks. Guy's coaching aims to develop greatness in others by teaching the secrets of world class singing and speaking. His methods focus on mastering emotional control, developing an optimal mental state, and handling pressure with ease to inspire and influence during crucial social interactions. Additionally, Guy's techniques extend to helping lawyers even persuade juries and assisting individuals overcoming stage fright, tone deafness, stuttering, and other vocal challenges. His transformative approach not only builds social confidence, but also rehabilitates those with severe speech disorders. So with that, I'm so excited to have you on, Guy. I'd love to actually have you tell a little bit what got you into what you do. That's one thing that we haven't had a chance to discuss too much. So again, thank you so much for taking time to be on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. It is so great to be here with you on Everyday Elevation. I am thrilled and honored to be with you. And yeah, it's an interesting story how I got into the whole how to own our moments, how to get pulled deeper into our moments, how to bring other people into our moments, how to self-inspire ourselves. And believe it or not, it all started with way back when I was just a voice coach, and I'd have singers come to me and say, Guy, I go, what? And they'd say, I have stage fright. I know you can help me with that, right? So how do we figure this one out? So I found out some really amazing things. I found out how we frighten ourselves on demand, unintentionally, during high stakes social situations. And of course, all social situations are high stakes situations.
And what do you mean by that?
This is because we're being judged, evaluated. It's pass or fail. You're going to get the gig. You're going to get the job. You're going to get hired. You're not going to get hired. Social situations require us to be emotional. And so I wholeheartedly invite everyone in the audience to do everything you can to resist any attempts that you have to be non-emotional during high-stakes situations. Now, these high-stakes situations require your emotions because you have to feel your way through them. So I'm not saying be out of control emotionally, but I am saying if we can turn this into a skill, like swinging a golf club, like driving a car, like swimming, then we can create predictable outcomes during what normally can be very nerve-wracking experiences for a lot of people.
I love it. So you turn that into a strength by just really figuring out what's going on behind the scenes for you.
Yes.
Layman's terms, for that matter. I know it's a lot more technical than that. Tell me about how someone could build some of those skills up.
Okay, so something we let go of, here's how you can build those skills up. Something we let go of a long time ago was our ability to be playful like we were when children. I know this sounds crazy, but just hear me out and this may make some sense. So what I'm saying is if we look at these high stakes situations, the sales call, the audition, the interview, the sales pitch as heavy and serious, we become heavy and serious. Let me explain. I want you to look at it from this standpoint. There are two aspects. One is the adult aspect, which is the agenda, which is our script, our sales pitch, the song we got to sing. That has to be mapped out. It's got a beginning, it's got an arc, it's got an ending, it's got a demand, perhaps at the end, may I be paid now, please, right? So that's the adult component. We're relying on that. That's a slide presentation, whatever it is. What I want you to ask yourself is, how do we prepare for this? And how we can prepare for this is know what we have control over. I may not have control over whether or not you like me, but I do have control over my agenda. I've worked my song. I've worked my sales pitch. I've rehearsed it. I've memorized it. I know the flow of it, 1 through 10, A through Z, whatever it happens to be. That is the adult component. What I'd like you to do is trust it. You can trust that during this uncertain social situation. So I want you to lean on that and rely on that, because I need you to do the next thing. And the next thing is the playful component, which is the arena of the child. It's the arena of self-inspiration. It's how you pull yourself into the story. You become the storyteller. How you inspire yourself. How you seek out evidence that inspires, motivates, and propels you. And those are called the amusement tools. And I'll tell you about that in a second. So we've got these two components. We've got the adult component, which is the agenda. And I want to get clients and I want to get paid from that. I designed it. And we have the childlike component, which is the play. And what I propose, I want you to understand, is the sales pitch. The reason they say it's only worth 30% of the presentation is because there's no life in it. The childlike play, what you do while you're saying the thing, is what gives it life and gives it meaning. Because we may not be able to read another person's mind, obviously, but the weird thing is we can feel their feelings. So I can't vet the data to determine if the data is truthful, but I can get a sense of whether or not I think you're being truthful, you're telling the truth, you're lying to me. So I look for the lie in your emotion. So I look for that lie in your emotion. And if I can't find it, if I can just find truth, and all I'm getting is the data, and what's behind it is truth, then you must be true. I'll give you an example. You're Willie Nelson. You're 93 years old. You've been touring. You're exhausted. Your bus has just rolled back into Austin. This is your last show on the tour. And the next song you got to sing is On the Road Again. I just can't wait to get the last thing that, in truth, that Willie Nelson wants to do is ever get on the road again. He's fried. He's tired right now. But I got to sing the song right now. Jason, I got to sing the song right now. And there can be no lie in me. So he uses his amusement tools. One of them is his mind. And he uses his imagination, his childlike imagination. He doesn't have to worry about, will I forget the words? Will I forget the words? He's trying to find some hope, some inspiration to get him into this. So, of course not. He's not going to worry about the words. He's sung the song 40 trillion times. What he actually needs is self-inspiration for real. So they're playing the intro. Dun, 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 dun. And his mind, he says, okay. He visualizes. He's in the bus. He's walking in. There's this amazing, the most beautiful woman in the world. She's 26 years old. She set up the dominoes. He likes the dominoes. She set up the dominoes to play, and she's got this warm, inviting look on her face, and it feels warm and lovely inside the bus in his mind. He's walking towards her to sit down, and she pulls out rolls him a big spliff for him to smoke while they're going to play dominoes. And with that rolling in his head, while that truth is rolling in his head, he goes, on the road again. I just can't wait to get on that road again, making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. Right? So you see the trick he played? on himself to win?
Yeah, so let me ask you here. Um, for those who maybe have a hard time visualizing that stuff, what are some tips? Like for me, I get my head a little too much, so it's hard for me personally to visualize. I've been working on it very hard for the past year in meditation. But what are some tips that you would recommend for people to kind of get that more playfulness, the childlike imagination out there? For those who maybe struggle with the vis, visualization. Holy cow. Um, tool set. Yeah, I got there.
You hit it on the head because that's a problem for a lot of people. So what we want to do is we want to don't work with the emotional tools initially, because the tools that require emotions and that kind of the ability to pull yourself in, if it can be a hard way to start. Because for a lot of us, we really start in, there are two rooms that we can start in. I call one the angel room and one the devil room. The angel room is about good news and good things and happy thoughts and inspiration and training yourself to look for the good, the right, and the correct. That's a skill. The devil room is the one that we're really familiar with. And that's that critical, negative, looking out for the devils. Look out, Jason. They're going to get you. Don't screw up, Jason, whatever you do. Oh, no. Do I remember my lines? Oh, no. What else could go wrong? Ha, ha, ha. You start stacking evidence, and the evidence you're perceiving, which is true, is building your anxiety. So for those of you who haven't mastered a way to wiggle out of that devil room and get into that angel room, which is using the same technology, evidence seeking, instead of looking for the bad, you train yourself to look for the right, because the only thing we have control over is how we feel. And if you feel good and you've got your ducks in a row in your presentation, you're going to do very, very well. If you feel bad, look for the bad, you're going to feel bad. So then your presentation is not going to be good because you're going to be filled with anxiety. Huh. Do you want the product or not? Huh, huh, huh. So emotional skills can take maybe a little bit of time into the presentation. So what I recommend is we start with a simple toy called wordplay. Wordplay will lower your anxiety. It does this way. Instead of me locking on to you, I'm going to worry about what you think. I'm going to worry about what you say. I'm going to worry about how this goes. I'm going to put you in control. I want to get back to myself with that whole childish kind of skill that I had when I was 5 years old, 4 years old, playing in the sandbox. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do wordplay. So if I'm going to say wordplay is stretching out vowels, shortening out vowels, raising and lowering pitch, speeding up and slowing down. Hi, I'm Guy Munroe, the charisma coach. I'm so excited to be here. Now, I don't have to feel excited to know that if I speak in that style, maybe a higher pitch as opposed to a lower pitch. Hi, I'm Guy Munroe, the charisma coach, and I'm really excited to be here. I don't know about that. Raise the pitch a little bit. Hi, I'm Guy Munroe, the charisma coach, and I'm really excited to be here. So we play with my words, glue my words together, stretching my vowels, going from vowel to vowel to vowel, because vowels are what make us sound beautiful, because vowels are musical, and vowels have tone in them. And consonants are clicks and pops. But vowels are beautiful. So wordplay is a really great place to start. And to give you an overview of the seven senses that we use in order to inspire ourselves, you have to go back and think like you're a kid. And these will make sense. So let's just go back to the beach or in the sandbox, or it's playtime. We're pulling out our toy chest, open it up. All that cool junk is in there. And we're going to open our tool chest and to play with our toys. And so the senses work this way. Number one, the mind. Think of thoughts that inspire, motivate, and propel. Number two, the eyes. Seek out objects, shapes, colors that inspire, motivate, and propel. Voice. Raise, lower, speed up, slow down. Add resonance to your voice. to inspire, motivate, and propel you. Gestures. Take my awareness, take it out of my head, put a little bit in my hand. I start wiggling my fingers. And now I'm focused on you, but I'm also in my fingers. So that my worry factor has just gone down tremendously. Call these talking hands. And if you utilize them, they're not fake. They're just toys, like a spinner, like playing with a pencil is a toy. And your hands are now a toy. You play with them. I think and I feel, and right? And then we have face. Is your face dead? Hi, I'm Guy Munroe, the Charisma Coach. Today is the greatest day of my life. How are you doing? Flex those eyebrows, corner of your mouth. Set that face free. Play with your face to inspire, motivate, and propel you. It's for you. Play with movement. Walk around, move, go left, go right, go forward, fidget. And finally, intensity. Increase your intensity. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you're an 8, if it feels like you're an 8, if you're doing a 6, hi, I'm Guy Munroe, the Charisma Coach. And you're actually more of an intense guy. I'm Guy Munroe, the Charisma Coach. And that's what the investment feels like in an 8. That feels correct to me. So you start using your intensity. And if you're too wound up, cool it down a little bit. So you calm down a little bit. You're too wound up. These are the things that we play with to inspire, motivate, and propel ourselves. The audience doesn't know it, but what else are you going to do when you're standing on the red dot at TEDx? What else are you going to do when you are standing in front of 5 strangers, going to sing them a song? Are they the feedback loop? They can't be. Because when you go onto a stage situation, you get this bright, shining light, you can't see the other person. We can't play tennis with the other person. I hit the ball to you, Jason. You hit it back to me, like we would if we were going out for coffee. There's no one to bounce it back, so you're just doing this weird behavior of taking out a tennis ball and practicing your swing into the crowd. Take another one and hit it into the crowd. So the feedback loop can't be the audience. It has to be you. I have to go after Jason. If I'm Jason and I'm on stage, I go after Jason. I get him involved. I pull him in. I inspire him. I propel him. I motivate him. I become the enthusiastic tour guide to pull me deeper into my moment. And this is investment through activities which inspire, motivate, and propel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love it. When it comes to speaking, I don't focus on the people speaking to. I never really thought of as focusing on myself, like just speaking to myself and pulling out that excitement there. But when you mention it, as you're talking about that, I was like, yeah, when I've had a really good speech, I recall moments where I just started just free flowing with it and feeling more and more confident as I kept talking. And I wasn't worried about anybody or anything around me. If anything, I probably blacked out mid conversation and just know that at the end, all the applause, that it went really well. But I knew that I was incredibly comfortable. So the tools you're saying right there make perfect sense. They're simple and yet very easy to actually practice. And that's what I'm loving about this conversation right here is that you're making it very simple for people to be able to handle some of these high pressure situations. Because speaking in front of anybody, whether it's 3 people or 300, can be incredibly intimidating. I love that you talk about play a lot too, as well. For me, I didn't think you were going that route with the play. I love that. I actually want to try doing the faces in the future just to loosen up the face a little bit. Yeah, I instantly got Jim Carrey vibes right away when you started doing who's actually like a huge, huge idol of mine. I was like, oh, this is amazing. So, like for me, when it comes to play, before like a big meeting or anything like that, even before it was podcast, I actually like to go outside, look at things, and find different levels of amusement for play. So just look around and just see the beauty in the world. So I wasn't sure where you're going with the play, and I love it because it's something completely different than what I was expecting. So thank you so much for that.
Well, you're so welcome. Here, I'll crystallize it for you. It works this way. All we have, let's say, is the moment. This moment. That is why they call it the present, the present. It's why it's called the gift, the present. At the present moment. So what we do with it is really important, because otherwise you're going to be a victim to inspiration. Oh, she's a lovely gal. I hope she shows up. Hope she shows up for this call in this moment. Oh, she's not here? Oh, okay. I'll just be dead weight. Okay. Or we invest in ways that inspire us. It really is wild. I have really observed, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the way it appears to me. The more pulled into the moment I am, the more pulled into the moment you are, because I'm the TV show. So the more important it is to me, the more important it becomes to you. The less important it becomes to me, the less important it becomes to you. So what if it's kind of like this? If I want you to find me interesting, then my actual activity must be being interested. How interested can Guy get for real? No bullshit, no lies. Can't be any lies in me, because you'll smell that. You'll smell the con, the hustle. So no pushing, no shoving. Be kind to yourself. Be on your side. And let the moment be something that you want to experience. I want you to be in a position where you don't need an audience member to bounce something off of. You're going to bounce it off of yourself. We have many tools in the amusement tool chest. One of them is called Taste the Chocolate. Can you taste it? Another one is see it when you say it in your mind's eye. Can you see it? Can you see it? The fat black cat sat on the mat. I'm tasting the chocolate. I'm seeing a cat. So you're watching me ingest, digest my moment. The fat black cat sat on the mat. I'm getting into it. I'm getting into it, Jason. I'm getting into it. I'm going after Guy. Because Jason, really, wouldn't it be easier for Jason to, if he wants to tickle the audience, wouldn't it be easier if he learned all the tickle points of Jason? So at that moment, he tickles Jason and the audience feels the tickle. For real, not a lie. That's why this stuff works in the court of law, too.
That makes sense. So I just flashed back to college acting classes when you're talking about this. Like, man, these tips would have been amazing back then. I was one of those people that was always in my head. So it's just I never really you would read the part, but you weren't like I would read the part and but I wasn't the part. So and as always the feedback I got from my coach and my teacher, but I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. So you made it very clear to help get past that point. Because I know there's a vast amount of people listening to this podcast, different from different things. I have friends who are actors, and these tips are just amazing for everything. So I'm having so much fun in this conversation. I'm so appreciative of you being on here. By the way, probably going on a little bit of a tangent, but that's okay. I was really loving this. So, what are some more tips that maybe people can use to kind of create that um, childlike mindset? I guess.
So if you're in your head, you're a smart guy. So we got to take advantage of that. So I want you to go further in your head. but I need you to know that intellectually, I need you to know what you can trust and what you have control over. So you got the lines, you got the Shakespeare, you got the song. Trust it. There's got to be more for us to do than just the lines of the dumb song. For example, people go, they want to sing the song and they want to feel something. But the words sometimes can't inspire us, or they're not doing it in this moment. And that's why you have to practice getting to know how to inspire, motivate, and propel Jason. So it's like, what turns me on? What do I like? Like, you're dancing with this moment. So screw the acting coach and the director and the audience. Screw them. Because they can't help. You look out there in the audience, you'll see a fat guy looking at you like, with his arms folded, and this negative look on his face. Oh, I'm really inspired now. I was connecting with my audience. So stupid. It is so stupid. Did they sign up to connect with you? No. What can you connect with? Your moments. You did it when you were a kid playing. So ask yourself this question. Is this a life-threatening situation? I know that sounds stupid, but really, what are you worrying about? What is your job? If I say, you have to say, the fat black cat sat on the mat. That's your line. If I say, you got to say that. The fat black cat sat on the mat. You just said it. But what can we do to pull you in more? To make it valuable on a scale of 1 to 10, not a 1 to 3, but let's get it up there to 8s and stuff. It's innocence of a child. You can't be guilty. I got to do this right. I got to get this right. I got to get an A. If you're guilty, you're dead. Because you don't know what your role is to play. And your role to play is an evidence seeker to control your emotions. Say that again. You are an evidence seeker to control emotions. The habit that most of us have is we seek out the devils in the room. We look for what is bad to either fight it or walk around it, avoid it. Where's the broken glass? Where's the broken glass? Where can I hurt myself? Waste of time. And I will tell you why. Because social situations are emotional. And the reason they're emotional is because she may say, I love you. She means I like you. She may say, I love you. And she means I hate you. She may say, I love you. And she means I love you. That's why we have to feel our way through. Bullshit. She's not telling me the truth. So you need your emotions. But if you seek negative evidence during a high stakes situation, an emotional situation, and you are seeking negative information, everything that could go bad, every piece of evidence that you find will stack up to prove your point, which is, this is bad. Versus, fat black cat sat on the mat. What do I like about the fat black cat? What do I like about the mat? What do I like about the cat sitting? All of a sudden, what you don't have control over, all those people staring at you, that drifts away. And all you're left with is the silly, fat black cat in your mind's eye. And you see it and you taste it. The sun was hot outside. Use your intellect. The sun, the sun, the sun. What's the experience of the sun like? But do it real time. Do it now. Don't do it like, I'm just supposed to feel all this stuff and there's this disconnect. No. Right now, the sun was hot outside. I'm tasting the chocolate, man. I'm tasting the chocolate. That's my job. Ingest it. A poem. When you sing a song, make it sacred. When I was down and oh, my soul, so weary. My soul is weary. I have to let go of you for a minute, Jason. I got to let go of you, and I gotta go to this. When I was down, oh, my soul, so weary. So you ask yourself, this is a life-threatening situation. Because if it's a life-threatening situation, then they'll stab you, they'll kill you if you screw up. You can't drop your guard if it's a life-threatening situation. That's why I have to ask you that. So you can get involved in the innocence of the work of grabbing Jason by the shirt collar, pulling him in to the task at hand. The fat black cat sat on the mat. There's no right way or wrong way. It's the result is what you want, which is you want to see it in your mind. If I'm seeing a cat, well, you're here with me, but I'm seeing a cat and I'm seeing a mat, and that's my job. That's your job when you're telling a story. The more you get pulled into it, let go of the audience, Jason. The more Jason, go after Jason, pull him in, because the more he gets into it, the more we get into it. There can be no lie in you. You're a salesman. There can be no lie in you. I had this guy who's doing this presentation, and he was selling this idea to some city council, and he's rehearsing with me, and I'm talking to him about the amusement tools and using your senses, mind, eyes, voice, intensity. And he starts talking, and here goes the slide number 1. He's like one of the parents on the Peanuts cartoon. And then all of a sudden he goes, and I just know that if the city council approves this particular arrangement, all the financial concerns for the community will completely evaporate and money will just rain from the skies. And I went, oh my God, what did you do? Well, Guy, I was doing what you said. I need to go after me. I got to pull me into this, right? I got to sell me on this. Yeah, you got to sell you. So nothing. And you said the mind and let it drift, the monkey mind, let it drift. All of a sudden I'm going blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden this beautiful, large-breasted woman that I know came into my awareness, and I just started reading the slide. And I just know that if the city council approves this thing, I said, fantastic. He said, wait, this is a city council meeting. I can't be thinking about naked women. I said, wait a minute. When you let your mind drift, it could be first kiss, could be your cats wrestling on the bed, could be that family vacation. It could be that Thanksgiving dinner where nobody fought. It could be your 12-year-old birthday party. It could be a lot of things. But those things are useful and they pull you into something real while you're yammering on the lyrics of your song. Because it's the life behind the words that make the words true. I love you with all my heart. Make it true. He's bullshitting me. He's telling the truth. So there can be no lie in you. So are we trying to sell another person, or should we be closing ourselves? I'm confident if we were to interview Tony Robbins and I said, hey, Tony, who's the hardest person to close on stage? And he'd say, oh, that's easy. It's me. So Tony, what do you do when you're doing a presentation? I'm closing Tony Robbins.
Love it. I know I've already mentioned before, but I'd never really thought of it in that perspective. And it makes it so much more simple to be in that moment when you're realizing that it's you versus you. And just the reality of life in general. Standardly speaking, it's always going to be you versus you. So get out of your own way. Have a little fun with it. You only get one life. Why stress your whole life? I thank God I learned that recently in the past couple of years because prior military me, I was gung ho, like gotta be super strict, yeah. But chiseled everything, and just I was very, very high strung and unhappy. So I'm very fortunate to have figured out that life is way too short to be that serious. And like I love these little tips you're giving. Shouldn't say little, these are huge tips. They might seem little to some, but these are tips that are going to change people's lives. And I can see why you do as well as you do with coaching, just because of the fact that this interview here has already inspired me so much to practice more and have a little more fun with talking. I'm going to be implementing these tools throughout the rest of my life. So, first and foremost, I want to thank you for coming on here and just making it such a fun episode. Um, we are getting a little closer to the end here. So what I always love to do is I really love to give you a little opportunity if there's anything you haven't had a moment to speak on that you were really hammering away, that you really clamoring to want to talk about, please do. And for those who want to be able to find you, list off a little some ways that they can reach out to you. Maybe they need some coaching as well.
I love it. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So to get in touch with me, I want to get in touch with you. What I want you all to do is I want you all to go to Guy Munroe, Guy Munroe, MONROE.com. I want you to go there. And there's two sections. One's on singing and the other's on speaking. And click on either of those that interest you. Then I want you to click on freebies. And I got the tools we were talking about. I got them there for you to download, to experiment with, because I'm not teaching you guys anything you don't know. I am the weirdness of what I'm teaching you is I want you to be that 3, 4, 5-year-old, that liberated, that free, that invested, that playful, that intense, while you're presenting your pitch, your song, your sales, your passion. So you feel free, evidence of free, to be in control, because I want that for you. And I got some free classes going on, live classes that are going on. And I don't know how much longer they're going to be going on, but I got some free classes that you can attend at 7 p.m. Central Time, USA time, a couple of times during the week, if you're interested. GuyMunroe.com.
Amazing. Please take advantage of this. I know I'm going to be looking at your website right after this call here and click into one of those courses because there's no way I can't become a better person having taken one of those. So very, very excited for that and so grateful that you have these opportunities that where people can even get freebies. So that's amazing. What I'd like to end my podcast with is just a couple questions. It's a fun way to get a little feel for you more so than just on the interview platform of the podcast. Um, for me, I always like to ask this question first and foremost. If there is a quote that you could have on your epitaph, your gravestone, something that you live by, that you read, what would that quote
If it would be along the lines of be the finest version of you that you can be every moment of your life. Because whatever you inspire to be, you will become with practice. Be great, be a magnificent human being, and it'll become automatic.
be? Amazing. Simple yet very true. I not to go into too much detail, but I feel like that's like the law of attraction, right? Essentially, we're speaking law of attraction. Be who you want to become. Act, put those actions into play. Start now, and you're going to become that great version of yourself. So I love that. That's an amazing quote. I'm going to be writing that down. I have to go back and re-listen to this after. Besides the editing factor, I just want that quote so I can write that and put it on a poster board for myself. one of the fun parts I have in this podcast. I get some really amazing quotes from people. And this has got to be hands down my favorite one. It's one of the most truthful, impactful, and easy to apply quotes there. So thank you for that.
My great pleasure.
Of course. One last question. And I'm going to make this a little more complicated because I already know what your superpower is. What I want to, because normally I'll ask, what do you think your superpower is? You know what your superpower is. So, what would be a superpower that you want to hone? Maybe a new superpower to develop.
Wow, you're calling me out, so I'm going to be honest and attempt to rise to the occasion. My whole life, I have done a lot of things, but the one of the things that I've always wanted to do, which I haven't, which held me back, which was to learn how to accompany myself on the piano while I'm singing. And I've just started doing that, so I'm fully committed to not stopping because I want to be that guy who can hop on the piano and blow you away with a song while I'm supporting myself on the keys. So thank you for leveling me up, brother.
Of course, and see it's out there now. Now you got to keep going. Perfect.
You're
Love it.
right.
What amazing. Okay. Well, again, I want to thank you for being on the podcast here. This has been just an incredible episode. I'm so excited to get this out to the audience. I know they're going to love this. I've had chills the whole conversation. I knew this is how the conversation was going to go. Maybe not exactly the verbatim, but I knew that I was going to be inspired the whole way through. So just thank you for being the incredible human being that you are. I know that I'm probably going to reach out to get you on my podcast again here, possibly even have you speak to my company. That's a little side note, but I think that you have so many tools that can help so many people. And I know you already are. And just so grateful we came across each other off of Facebook of all places. Uh, and with that, I just want to thank everybody who will be eventually tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button, leave a detailed review. Also, check us out on Instagram at Everyday Elevations so you can get some exclusive content, all the latest updates, and you even get some peeks behind the scenes, a little bit more about who I am as a person. And with that, thank you so, so much for taking the time to be here today and for everybody tuning in.